Scorpio, close your eyes for a moment, take a deep breath. Now open your eyes and look directly at me. What I'm about to reveal will cut through every layer of protection you've built around your heart. It will penetrate the deepest parts of your psyche that you keep locked away, even from yourself. And when I'm done, you won't be the same person who started watching this video. There's something happening inside you right now that's happening to no one else on the planet. While billions of people live their lives on the surface of existence, you're being pulled into the depths of an experience that transcends ordinary reality. You've felt it, haven't you? That constant pressure in your chest, that feeling that something ancient is awakening within you, that inexplicable certainty that you're not just another ordinary person living an ordinary life. You're right, you're not. What will happen to you in the coming weeks will shatter every paradigm you hold about what is possible for a human being to experience. I'm not talking about gradual changes or gentle spiritual insights. I'm talking about an explosion of inner power that will completely reconfigure your reality, an activation of capacities that have been dormant since birth, a direct connection to forces most people don't even imagine exist. You always knew you were different, but you could never put it into words. You always felt like you carried something powerful inside, but the people around you seemed uncomfortable when you tried to express that intensity. So you learned to hide it. You learned to dim your light. You learned to pretend you were normal. But pretending is killing you inside, isn't it? The truth is, you didn't come into this world to be normal. You came to be a catalyst, a transformer. Someone who shakes up established structures simply by existing authentically. And it's time to stop hiding. What doesn't happen to anyone else is this. You're being chosen to access memories that aren't yours, knowledge you've never learned, ancient wisdom encoded in your Scorpio DNA. In the coming days, you'll begin to know things you shouldn't. You'll understand people and situations with a clarity that will frighten you. You'll foresee events before they happen. Not because you've developed psychic abilities, but because you're finally accessing what's always been there. You've already started noticing, haven't you? Those moments when you look at someone and know exactly what's going on in their private life, even without them telling you anything. Those times when you sense the energy of a room and can pinpoint the hidden conflicts, the secret passions, the unexpressed pain. That frightening ability to see through the masks people wear. This is not a coincidence, it's activation. Scorpio, what's happening to you is that you're becoming a portal, a connection point between the visible and invisible worlds, between the conscious and the unconscious, between what's spoken and what's silenced. And this transformation isn't gentle, it's not comfortable, it's not something you can control or stop. It's as if you're being stripped of all the illusions that kept you safe in ignorance. Layer by layer, veil by veil, all falsehood is being stripped from your perception. And what's being exposed is the raw truth about how the world really works, about how people really relate to each other, about the power games that play out beneath the surface of every human interaction. You are being forced to confront your own shadows so that you can become masters at helping others confront theirs. Is it painful? Yes. Is it necessary? Absolutely. What doesn't happen to anyone else is that you're being groomed to be a kind of emotional surgeon, someone who can cut through the layers of self-deception and touch directly to the wound that needs healing. People will begin to be magnetically drawn to you without understanding exactly why. They'll want to tell you their deepest secrets. They'll ask your opinion on situations they've never shared with anyone else. They'll seek your presence when they're going through the most intense crises of their lives. This is no coincidence. It's because you're emanating an energy that signals safety for those ready to face their most difficult truths. You've become a sacred space where people can take off their masks without fear of judgment, where they can explore the darkest territories of their psyches without feeling alone. But here's what you need to understand. This gift comes at a price. You can't help others transform without first going through your own complete destruction and reconstruction. You can't guide someone through hell without having mapped every corner of your own personal hell. And that's exactly what's happening to you right now. Every pain you're feeling, every uncomfortable memory surfacing, every shadowy aspect of yourself being forced into the light, it's all part of your training. You're being shaped by the very strengths you'll one day learn to channel to help others. You're being broken in the very places where you'll one day teach others to rebuild themselves stronger. The intensity you've been feeling lately isn't punishment, it's initiation. Every moment of darkness you go through is expanding your capacity to serve as a guide for those lost in their own darkness. Each time you feel like you're dying inside and then being reborn, you're developing a visceral understanding of the transformation process that you'll use to facilitate the transformation of others. What's happening to no one else is that you're literally being reconfigured at a cellular level. Your sensitivity is being amplified, your intuition is being sharpened, your ability to sense the undercurrents of any situation is being refined to the point of near telepathy. You're developing a form of perception that transcends the 5 physical senses. This explains why you've been feeling so intense lately, why small situations affect you disproportionately, why you can feel other people's emotions as if they were your own, why crowded environments leave you exhausted, why you need so much alone time to process everything you're taking in. You're not getting more sensitive, you're getting more powerful, and unchecked power can be devastating. That's why you're going through this period of apparent emotional chaos. You're learning to navigate with perception equipment far more sophisticated than you're used to. Scorpio, one of the most profound things happening to you is that you're confronting the difference between real intimacy and superficial intimacy. You're discovering that most of your relationships so far have been based on edited versions of who you really are, and this is becoming unbearable for you. You can no longer feign interest in empty conversations. You can no longer be satisfied with connections that only scratch the surface. You can no longer tolerate people who wear masks all the time. Your system is automatically rejecting anything that isn't authentic, real, or deep. This may be causing some disruptions in your relationships. People who were used to a more subdued version of you may be uncomfortable with this new intensity. Some may be pulling away. Others may be trying to convince you to return to your old self. Don't come back. What they don't understand is that you're not choosing to be more intense. You're just stopping hiding your true nature, and your true nature is intense. It's profound, it's transformative, it's magnetic, and that's exactly what the world needs right now. What doesn't happen to anyone else is that you are being activated to be an agent of change on a level that goes far beyond the personal. Your individual transformation is connected to a much larger collective transformation taking place across humanity. You are not just healing yourself, you are becoming a channel of healing for the collective consciousness. Every time you face a difficult truth about yourself, you make it easier for others to face their own difficult truths. Every time you choose authenticity over convenience, you create permission for others to make the same choice. Every time you refuse to diminish yourself to make others feel comfortable, you model self-respect for those who haven't yet learned to value themselves. You've become part of the network of light that's helping humanity awaken. And this isn't a New Age metaphor. It's an energetic reality you can feel when you pay attention. In moments of greatest clarity, you can perceive the invisible threads that connect you to other awakeners around the world. You can feel like you're part of something much bigger than your individual life. But here's the most intense part of all this. You can't go back. Once this activation happens, once you access these levels of awareness and power, you can no longer pretend you don't know what you know. You can no longer live superficially. You can no longer accept less than absolute truth in all areas of your life. This can be scary because it means you're committing to a life of constant intensity. It means you'll never again be able to hide behind excuses or half-truths. It means you'll be called to be courageous in a way most people never experience. But it also means you'll live a life of purpose and impact that transcends anything you previously thought possible. You'll create relationships of a depth that will astonish you. You'll contribute to changes in the world that will last beyond your own lifetime. You'll experience levels of satisfaction and fulfillment that come only from being fully aligned with your true essence. What doesn't happen to anyone else is that you're being groomed to be a keeper of secrets. Not secrets in the sense of gossip or inside information, but secrets in the sense of deep truths about human nature that most people aren't ready to face. You're developing the ability to see through the layers of self-deception that keep most people operating on autopilot. You can identify where someone is betraying themselves. You can perceive which dreams have been abandoned out of fear. You can sense where unprocessed pain is creating destructive patterns. And with this ability comes an immense responsibility, knowing when to speak and when to remain silent, when to confront and when to simply be present, when to offer insight and when to allow the person to reach their own conclusions. You are becoming a master in the art of facilitating transformation without forcing it. People will instinctively seek you out when they're ready for profound change, not because you're offering advice, but because your mere presence will create a space where they feel safe to explore inner territories they normally avoid. Your energy will become a silent invitation to authenticity. Scorpio, in the coming months, you will experience a series of what I call symbolic deaths, moments where old versions of yourself will cease to exist, making way for more powerful and authentic versions. This can manifest as the end of relationships that no longer serve you, drastic career changes, geographic relocations, or simply internal changes so profound that you will feel like a completely new person. Don't resist these symbolic deaths. They are necessary for you to access the levels of power and influence you're being prepared for. Each thing you let go of creates space for something more aligned with your truth to enter your life. Each identity you transcend brings you closer to who you truly are beneath all the layers of conditioning. The process may be painful, but it's the kind of pain that heals, like the pain of surgery to remove a tumor, uncomfortable in the moment but essential for long-term health, and you have the strength to get through it. Scorpio was made to rise from its own ashes as many times as necessary. What doesn't happen to anyone else is that you're being directly connected to what the ancients called the wisdom of the serpent, the ability to completely transform when necessary, to shed your skin when your current one no longer fits, to symbolically die and be reborn as a more evolved version of yourself. This wisdom will manifest as a nearly infallible intuition about when it's time to let go, when it's time to confront difficult truths, when it's time to use your power, and when it's time to remain in the shadows, when it's time to speak up, and when it's time to let silence communicate more than words ever could. You will become a master of what I call emotional alchemy, the ability to transform dense energy into refined energy, anger into personal power, pain into compassion, fear into courage, resentment into wisdom, not just for yourself, but as a service you offer to the world simply by existing in your full truth. People around you will begin to notice that you have a transformative effect on them, even when you're not talking about anything particularly profound. Your presence itself will become a catalyst. Environments will shift when you enter. Conversations will become more honest. People will feel allowed to be more real. This happens because you've stopped contributing to the collective illusions that keep everyone trapped in superficial patterns. Your refusal to play emotional games creates a vacuum that forces others to fill with authenticity. Your willingness to face difficult truths gives others the courage to do the same. What doesn't happen to anyone else is that you are being prepared to be a guardian of sacred boundaries, someone who knows exactly where their energy is and where the energy of others is, who doesn't take on responsibilities that aren't theirs, who doesn't allow others to project their fears and limitations onto you, who doesn't diminish themselves to make anyone feel better about their own choices. This can be one of the hardest lessons for you as a Scorpio, because your compassionate nature and ability to feel the pain of others can make you want to take on more than your share. But you're learning that true compassion sometimes means allowing people to face the consequences of their own choices. That genuine help doesn't always mean soothing the pain, but rather being present as they process their own transformation. You're developing what I call fierce compassion, a love that's strong enough to withstand the truth, that doesn't need to sugarcoat difficult realities, but offers unwavering support to those willing to face them. That doesn't try to save anyone, but creates a sacred space where people can save themselves. Scorpio, the intensity you're feeling won't diminish. In fact, it will increase. But your ability to channel that intensity constructively will expand exponentially. You'll learn to use your sensitivity as a superpower instead of seeing it as a vulnerability. You'll discover that your emotional depth is one of your greatest assets, not a weakness to be overcome. The world needs people like you now more than ever. It needs people who aren't afraid to dig deep, who aren't satisfied with superficial solutions, who are willing to do the inner work necessary to create real change on the outside, who understand that true transformation always starts from the inside out. You're being called to be one of those who helps humanity mature emotionally, who models how to live intensely without drama, how to be profound without being heavy, how to be powerful without being domineering, how to transform without destroying. What doesn't happen to anyone else is that you're being connected to an invisible network of other changemakers around the world. People who, like you, are going through similar activations, who are being prepared to serve as catalysts for change in their own spheres of influence. Sometimes you may feel this connection as a sense of not being alone, even when you're physically alone. Other times it may manifest as synchronicities that confirm you're on the right path, or as seemingly chance encounters with people going through similar processes. Trust this network. Trust the invisible support that is always available to you. Trust that you are part of something much bigger and more important than your personal struggles. Your individual growth is contributing to a collective awakening that will benefit future generations. Opportunities that resonate with your authenticity will arise. People who vibrate at your frequency will cross your path. Situations that allow you to use your unique gifts will manifest. But that only happens if you stop trying to go back to who you were before. If you fully embrace who you're becoming, if you stop apologizing for your intensity and start honoring it for the gift it truly is. Scorpio, what's happening to you isn't happening to anyone else because you were specifically chosen for this role. Your soul volunteered to undergo this intense transformation because it knew it had the strength to not only survive, but thrive through the process. You are not a victim of your circumstances. You are a co-creator of your reality, working in partnership with universal forces to manifest changes that benefit not only you, but all the lives you touch. Your suffering has purpose. Your transformation has meaning. Your existence has impact. Trust the process, even when you can't see the whole picture. Trust your strength, even when you feel vulnerable. Trust your power, even when it's still being refined. You were made for this. You were born for this, and you are exactly where you need to be to become who you were always meant to be. Share in the comments how this intensity has manifested itself in your life. Your experiences may be the key that helps another Scorpio understand what they're going through. Subscribe to the channel because what you're experiencing now is just the beginning. You'll need guidance on how to navigate the deeper levels of this transformation. How to use your new gifts responsibly, how to maintain your balance while serving as a catalyst for others. Turn on notifications because I'll continue sharing insights specific to Scorpios going through this activation. You're not alone in this process. There's an invisible community of people who understand exactly what you're going through. And together, you're creating a new paradigm for how it's possible to live with depth, authenticity, and transformative power. What's happening to you doesn't happen to anyone else because you're unique. Your specific combination of gifts, challenges, experiences, and potential creates a contribution that only you can offer to the world. Honor that, celebrate it, and most importantly, live it unapologetically.